Good afternoon, everyone. It is Thursday. It is Litsoc. It is our first Litsoc with our students, our regulars, for a while because the weather has been rather unkind and inclement for us. So because it's been a few weeks, we're just going to catch up and find out what everyone's been reading and what their reading plans are for half term. We're also going to talk a bit about some of the exciting books because the library, we've had a lot of new books coming in. So we just thought, seeing as no one's able to come into the library at the moment, we thought we'd shine a spotlight on some of the exciting new books we've got. And also we're going to talk about a couple of exciting literary events that are coming up that Lulu, in particular, is going to be able to tell us a bit more about. But first of all, let's start off with what people have been reading lately and what their reading plans are over half term. So Sienna, it's been a while since we've seen you. So what have you been reading lately? And also, remember, because we're outside, we have to pass the mic around, okay? So, Sienna.
So I've actually not been reading much because exams. Today was my last one.
Excellent. Yay.
Yeah.
Well done.
So I did buy Song of Achilles quite a while ago now, but I've started it. I've read 2 chapters, but I plan to finish that in the next probably few days, next week. I'm going to buy a few more to read over the holidays.
You could buy a few more. You could borrow from the library.
Yes.
Using the app. Look at all this. So what else are you thinking you might read then?
Cinderella is Dead, Red, White and Royal Blue. Don't know.
Do you know about Cinderella is Dead? It's quite a new book, isn't it?
I've heard about it, but I don't know much. I've just been recommended it by a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give it a try. Okay.
And as for the Madeline Miller, Song of Achilles, what do you know about that one?
Not a lot, but I'm excited to read it.
Has anyone else read that one? You've read it? So Esme, do you want to... Oh, could you pass them... Sorry, this is a bit cumbersome. Yeah. We have to pass the mic around. You pass the mic over. It's okay. There we go. So Esme, tell us a bit more about Song of Achilles.
It's basically the Iliad rewritten, so it's from Patroclus' perspective, and Patroclus in the text is Achilles' best friend, and it's implied it's his lover. Oh, he is his lover. And then the Song of Achilles is basically the Iliad from his perspective. So it's very good. Yeah.
I mean, so you would recommend it to most people? Anyone?
A certain age group.
Yes.
So what year are you?
11.
Yeah, I think definitely 10 year 10 above.
Okay.
But it's very good.
Of course, yeah. So the story of the Iliad. Girls, are you aware or familiar with what that is?
Do you know Trojan Horse? It's kind of a war that, you know how that ends the war. It's the story of that war.
Yes. So it's the Greeks and the Trojans, and there's all these very famous characters like Achilles and Hector and Helen of Troy. Sorry.
Helen of
Helen of Troy. The face of the most It's one of the most famous of the ancient Greek myths. It's okay. I would say thank you, Sienna, and let's pass it over to the year 7s. So who's going to go first? Emily, you want to go first?
I'll go first.
So same question. What have you been reading lately?
So I've been reading Becoming Michelle Obama, and so far it's a really good book because normally if you think of an autobiography, you think of it kind of a bit boring in a way because they just describe everything. But it's my first autobiography that I've read, but it's like an actual story. So it's it doesn't seem like her actual life. So it's really good so far, and there's lots of things that make it really interesting. And I'm going to finish that one soon. And I'm going to Scotland over the half term in a motorhome. So I'm going to have a pile of books on my bed to read every night. So it'll be a nice half term.
Fantastic. So Michelle Obama, what drew you to that book? Why did you want to read that one?
Well, my mum has the Barack Obama one.
Yes.
And she just got me it from the shop. And I've always wanted to read it because it looked like a really good book as well. And I also have a book of her quotes as well. And the quotes book was really good, so I decided to read it to see how it was.
Okay. So now obviously we all know who Michelle Obama is. So how much have you read of the book?
For 70 pages.
Okay. And what she talks about so far?
Well, so far she it's her life growing up as a child in her house in the south side of Chicago, I think it is. She applied for Princeton, but the person at Princeton said that they didn't think she was Princeton material. That's all she remembers from the interview. But then she tried to get into Princeton even more because of what the lady had said.
Yes, I'm going to prove you wrong. There you go. So there's an early example of overcoming a setback. So that's great stuff. All right, well, that sounds inspiring. So, what else? So you said you've got a big pile of books you're going to read in Scotland.
Yeah.
So any idea which one you might go with first?
Well, looking at my bookshelf, I still haven't read Lord of the Rings yet.
Now we have some Lord of the Rings fans around the table, don't we? Yes. So, have you read The Hobbit?
Yes.
What did you think of The Hobbit?
I quite like The Hobbit.
Okay. Lord of the Rings is the next. Have you seen the movies? Lord of the Rings movies?
No.
Good.
Always read the books before the movies.
Yes. Nothing wrong with films. Films are brilliant.
Just have to read the books before.
Because you know how it is when you see the film. The film's great. The book is great too. There is the Amazon Prime adaptation that's coming out. Sorry? Yes. Do you know when it's out? Okay. So we'll have more time in it, and there's going to be films when you see it. But it's. But yeah, it's so you really like it. If you like The Hobbit, I mean, wouldn't she? She like. What do you like about Lord of the Rings?
There's such a, in more sort of Northern Rings, you have like really a lot of different types of people. There's such like an fantasy story. And also it's got like the musical element, it really feels like it's stepping into a fantasy world.
Very happy. So yeah, we're looking forward to finding out how you go with that. Thank you, Emily. So Mariel, welcome to your first Litsoc. It's good to have you with us. So would you like to tell us what you've been reading lately?
I've been reading a book series called Virals by Kathy Reichs and her son, I think. Might be her nephew. And it's really interesting because, well, she's a forensic anthropologist, and so her books, like, she's writing about, so you know the TV series Bones. I haven't watched it, but the main character in Virals, it's her great niece. So it's really interesting because she goes on, like, she's very secluded from other people because they live on an island, separate to many other people, and like it's really cool because she and her friends go on loads of adventures. And so I'm on the third book in that series, but
How many books are in the series?
I'm not sure, but I know there's more than
Do you know
3.
when the first one was written?
I don't know. I think it was 2000 and something. I can check because I have it on my iPad.
Okay.
But so yeah, I'm reading the third one right now.
So you're finding yourself hooked. What sort of books were in a similar vein? You know, who would you recommend? If someone said, "Oh, I like this sort of book," what sort of books does it remind you of this series?
Not really sure because it's a mix of things.
Do you know what genre would you put it under?
Kind of adventure, but it's also sci-fi because, well, it's a mixture of both of them.
Okay.
But probably, yeah. And then I'm also really excited because I've pre-ordered a book that's coming out soon, and
Not been published yet.
no, it's not. So me and my friend Layla, we're waiting for it to come out, but we're really excited for.
And what book is that?
I don't know the name of the new one, but it's the first one in the series is called A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And
Jackson.
yeah, but I don't know the third one's name.
I can't remember. But yes, it's,
Yeah.
Those are very popular. They've been flying off the shelf. At least they were in normal library times. So if you like a bit of juicy murder mystery type, have any of you read it?
I've read one or two.
Yeah, it's fun. Because the premise is you're doing a actually decided to on the actual murders that happens, and it's sucked in. So if you like a good murder mystery.
Yeah.
It sounds like Murder Most, and they like perhaps a bit more dark and edgy. Maybe.
Yeah. I have read A Murder Most Unladylike. Not all of them, because there are quite a lot, but I've read like 7 of them.
Wow, well that's most.
Yeah.
And of course, again, you're among friends here because we have lots of Murder Most Unladylike fans. And we did do a Litsoc on Murder Most Unladylike, did we not, Lily?
We did.
Yes. So that's somewhere in the archives. All right. Well, thank you very much. How did you? It's there. It's on YouTube all the time. What is it? You want to pass to Eloise? So Eloise, how about you? What have you been reading?
I've been finishing the Lunar Chronicles series.
Melissa Neer.
Yeah.
Yes.
So on Tuesday I finished Cress, and now I'm reading Winter. Which, I mean, they're really good books. So
Why are they really good books?
I don't know. I like how they kind of like intertwined all the fairy tales, but also changed all the fairy tales like a lot to give their characters more depth. So instead of them just being like a princess, they've actually got like a reason behind what they're doing.
It's got a good twist on
Yeah.
traditional things. Okay. So you're on, is it the last one you're on?
Yeah.
Okay. So once you finish that, have you got any plans? What are you going to move on to next?
Well, I think I'm going to read Shadow and Bone, because I know that the TV series just came out on Netflix. My mum said it was good, but I want to read the book before I watch the TV series. So
Lord of the Rings going on.
Yeah.
Yes. So what do you know about Shadow and Bone, apart from the fact it's going on Netflix?
not really anything, to be
Does anyone
honest.
know anything? Esme!
It's very good. The TV show there are 2 like sets of books in that world, and the TV show combines the 2. I've been saving the TV show for after my exams, so I'm watching it this weekend. What do you want me to?
Yeah, maybe tell us a bit about it. What it's all about.
It's kind of like it's kind of vaguely like Russian and Eastern European inspired fantasy, and it's sort of people of different types of magic, and it has something to do with. It's been a while since I read the Shadow and Bones. It's like really like dark and just stopping an evil force. Yeah, that's good.
So she's written. Is it 6 books?
There's
There's a lot of them.
There's a trilogy, then there's a duology set also with the 6 Crows, and then I think there's another duology about a different character, but I haven't read that.
Yeah, that's. I haven't read them either, so but yeah, that sounds about right. And yes, big Netflix sensation. The trailer looks very exciting. So yes, it could be a nice summer binge watch. But yes, if you can read books, we have all the books in the library. We don't have any more than 30 here, but we do have. And yeah, they're sort of like fantasy slash. Are they dystopian?
More just like straight fantasy.
Straight fantasy. Okay. Yeah, and it's sort of like a mix of Hunger Games. Some say Twilight as well. So yeah, all these big popular series. So I highly recommend it. So yeah, I'm sure you will enjoy it, Alex. Looking forward to that. Okay, thank you. Esme, how about you? Have you been busy with exams?
I have been busy with exams, but I finished today, so
Excellent.
finished my A-levels, which is a terrifying thought.
Yes, your school days are over.
Yeah. But so I'm catching up and reading. Like I looked at the pile of books next to my bed the other day, and it's quite terrifying. So I've got a lot of non-fiction I'm planning on reading, and I think last November before exams, I started the book by Hilary Mantel on the French Revolution. I cannot remember the name of it.
The one about the French Revolution?
Yeah.
Place of Greater Safety.
Yes, I got about a quarter of the way through it and loved it, but just didn't have time to finish it.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. So I'm gonna finish that at some point. Get back to me in a year, and I'll finish it.
Okay.
I can't really think of anything else I'm planning on reading.
You said some non-fiction. Yeah.
Non-fiction.
What non-fiction?
Books about archaeology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What, are you in a bit of a archaeology?
Yeah, I've applied for it.
Oh, so what are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Well, maybe you can come back and do an archaeology list.
Maybe.
Alright, thank you.
Watch time team.
Well, yes. Well, thank you, Esme. Do you want to pass the mic to Lulu? So, Lulu, we'll return to you in a little while. But first, what have you been reading, if anything?
Well, I finished my exams yesterday, so I
Oh,
haven't
congrats.
had that much time. But if we're talking about Netflix stuff, this is going to be a Netflix show in a couple months. I think they filmed it.
Oh, wow. That's quick.
Yeah.
These are really new books. Okay.
No, this one came out a few years ago.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I read this.
About now.
This was 2018.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That's
And
really
it was a
good.
web comic first before it was a book. But Alice Osman's really talented. She's written a bunch of YA novels, and some of them are in the same universe as this. So Radio Silence, I think, was the book that this grew out of. And her most recent one is Loveless. I haven't read that one.
I've seen the cover. It's a girl looking
Yeah.
a bit sad on the cover. Yeah. So
I
that's a
read-
very good description.
I think I read this, it must have been 2019, it was definitely before COVID, at Yauk. And I remember I followed my friend around all of the stores and I was like this in the book.
Walking into pillars.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's being quite rude actually. But,
Oh dear. Yeah. Sometimes.
I finished it there and I bought the second one at the Waterstones pop-up book.
Okay.
I just really enjoyed it. It's really easy to read because it's a graphic novel.
Yeah.
The illustrations herself, which
Yeah. And she does update it every week, I think, online, so you can read ahead online before the books are actually published. So I think the third one's just been published, or it's just
Fourth
been...
one's been published.
Ooh, so you know more than me. But
only in terms of what's been published.
but yeah, I sometimes how I read it is I periodically forget to read it over 2 months, and then I catch up, and then I
Okay.
forget again.
Okay.
But it's basically about it. I think it's quite a staple for YA LGBTQ plus lit, especially in the UK. I don't think there's a lot floating around in the UK, but it's the reason I liked it is because it's about people my age.
Always a good thing.
So one of the main characters is in year 11 and the other one's in year 10. So I really enjoyed that. I think I was going into year 10 when I read it. Yeah,
time.
I just liked that it was something that could relate to me at being in year 11 and like being this age, and just really easy to read and really likable characters and just simple situations but told in a really nice and friendly and easy digestible manner.
That's good. That's good. And would you say, did it push all the right buttons emotionally? Did it make you laugh? Did it make you cry?
I'm not very good at that, but yes.
Okay, but you find it moving and
Yeah.
you enjoyed it, and so you've read. So are you reading it online? Are you following it
Yeah.
online? Okay.
I think I own the first one.
Okay.
I own
In
one of
in
them.
terms of the book.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think the published versions have additional material in them, but they're mostly online, so it's free on
How often does she release?
every week. Maybe.
okay.
Sometimes she takes some hiatuses, but yeah. The thing that interested me actually, the American edition was just published, and it has blue pages instead of black and white pages.
Oh, okay.
So fun fact.
Well, I wonder why that is. All right. Well, thank you, Lily. Alex, do you want to pass the mic to Alex? What have you been,
you.
if anything?
Oh, I know. Embarrassingly, this one. My
That's
exams
okay.
finished a week ago today, so it's no excuse.
Absolutely not.
Awful. But I have been reading. We were reading A Streetcar Named Desire in English, so I got a copy of that. I read that as well. It's very fun. So,
Streetcar Named Desire, yes.
yeah,
Tennessee
it's a good
Williams.
idea. Yeah, because obviously it's a cultural moment, isn't it? So I thought
Well, it's considered.
probably best, isn't it?
Yeah, it's considered to be one of the great plays of the 20th century. Certainly, they come from North America. Were you familiar with it before you started studying it?
No.
Okay.
Not really, not at all.
So I take it you've now read the whole
I have
thing.
now.
You haven't. So you don't know what happens.
No, I have.
You have. So you do know what happens. So what do you make of it? Do you think it's a good play? Do you?
I thought it was very interesting. I don't know. I guess it's hard to say if something's like a good.
Oh no.
play.
This is not an English lesson.
Oh, I see.
You can
Okay.
give an honest
That's
opinion.
I did really enjoy it. I thought it was very interesting. I like the I don't know. I guess the sort of naturalistic nature of it, because we did Ibsen's A Doll's House, and I guess compared to that, even then, that's kind of by our standards quite melodramatic. Like they're always gasping and opening the mail dramatically.
Tennessee Williams is very notorious for that. He certainly is quite. Yeah, there's lots of big gestures. Stella. Big gestures.
The movie, famous from the
But they
movie.
seem
Very-
sort of,
very
yeah,
famous.
they seem quite human in that way,
Yes. Yes.
We were reading it and doing great Southern American accents. Very accurate. I
Miss
assume.
Plumley's one's great. Do you have her?
No, I've got Miss Sebastian.
You should listen to Miss Plumley reading To Kind of Buckingham.
I'd love that. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I've read, I got a collection of Anne Sexton poems, because I was trying to buy a copy of it in Waterstones, and then they didn't have it, so I ordered it in store. So I got that while I was there.
Sorry, which poem? Sorry.
and Sexton poems.
Oh yeah,
it was it was really interesting, and it's like I think like a compilation of her collection, so it's like almost like a complete thing. But I never know how to like go about reading like books of poetry. Like I feel like with a novel, there's a clear start and end point, but there's no chronology to it.
I think poetry. I mean, there's no one answer to that really. I think you dip in and out. It's probably, if it's an anthology, and I mean that's why you have collections. Anthologies are good because you can match them to a theme or to your mood. We talked about the poetry pharmacy before, for example. So you can have a poem for every occasion. There's other anthologies again in the library. Everyone, a poem for every night of the year. Chris Riddell's done a couple of good collections, edited a couple of good collections. Poems to live your life by. With certain messages around certain things that are going on in the world. So yes, I mean, we do have a National Poetry Day Litsoc each year as well, don't we? So, so I think poetry, it's like plays, poetry tends to be better said out loud. And that's why it's important to go to Poetry Live, if you can. Because maybe you guys listen out. You went to Poetry Live, you too, right? So, you would agree that, seeing Simon Armitage, John Agard, etc., read their poems really...
Yeah. It brings it to life a bit. It's a
performance, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's designed to be performed, not
but then I'm
dryly read.
Yeah. But then, I'm also planning on reading, because I need to catch up on things, Ali Smith's Season series, which I meant to read years ago.
Yeah.
And I haven't even started, even though it's been
Well,
embarrassing.
they're actually quite straightforward to read. And,
and I'm big fan of horror books, so I think I'll probably enjoy it. Yeah.
I'm sure
And
you'll
I've got
enjoy these.
my aunt's old copy of Dubliners by James Joyce that I found while I was cleaning up my attic. It's very old, so I'm going to read that.
Yes, James. Yeah, that's the good James Joyce to start with, rather than something like Ulysses.
Yeah, which seems a bit daunting.
A bit overwhelming.
Yes, something a bit more accessible. And okay, well, thank you very much, Alex. Miss Rio, do you want to tell us a bit about what you've been reading lately?
Yeah, well, I literally just finished Heartstoppers as well. My review is pretty similar to what Lulu said. It's nice to have it set in the UK, you're right, and it's quite simple. Sometimes they can be very over the top, which is not a bad thing, but this feels like very real situations, which is what I liked about it. Oh yeah. And I'm still reading The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. It's taken me a lot longer than I thought, but...
Why is that then?
Well, it's broken up, so you've got the main story, but then every... Hello. It's all right. Samantha's here.
We've even got some...
doing the dance library, isn't it? Dancing. Who's involved in this? Anybody? No?
No.
Who's going? I'm in the musical, please. Oh, are you? Is that not tonight? That's 2 weeks away. Excellent.
We've had intermittent music piping through.
Oh, that's
Nice musical accompaniment.
How are you? I had the privilege of reading your essay on Inspector Calls. I did. Yeah. I did, didn't I? Yes, I did. Yeah.
The smile says it all.
Yeah. Sorry, interrupting. What were we talking about?
So we just go around saying what we were. So we're on to Miss Rio.
Oh yeah, I was talking about The Starless Sea.
Yes.
Yeah, it's taken me a little while because every couple of pages there's also then a short story.
Oh right.
So you've got the main overarching story and then then a short story that connects it. So you kind of, it's quite hard to really read a lot of it because you keep jumping between. I'm enjoying it though, but I'd recommend it. Did you read The Night Circus? Has anyone read The Night Circus? No, maybe a bit.
Read The Night Circus. Esme, did you read The Night Circus?
Yeah, it's quite a big book.
It is quite a big book. Yeah.
So I can see why you'd have it on your shelf and think, maybe not today.
Is it all to do with Hera and...
Oh no, that's not this one.
Oh, not that one,
No,
sorry.
I'm still reading the one that we spoke about last week.
Oh right, okay, sorry.
So I can't talk about anything new.
Right, okay.
But I'd recommend it. I'm halfway through now.
It's
enjoyable.
Would be fair to say, I'm just thinking of a YA equivalent. Is it a bit reminiscent of Kieran Millwood Hargrave?
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah. Have you read The Girl of Ink and Stars? Yeah, so it sounds like it's in that sort of vein.
Yeah.
So
You've not read The Girl... I thought you had The Girl of Ink and Stars. No? Okay.
So,
a bit like Inkheart as well.
Similar
sort
there you
of.
go. There's one you hopefully have heard of.
Lulu,
Similar.
You read that? Yeah.
Okay.
So a good read, but quite a dense one.
Right. Okay.
Indeed.
Not a quick one. But yeah.
All right, thank you, Mr. Rio. Well, I've been reading the Carnegie. I've been working my way through the Carnegie Medal. Now you may remember we were talking about that before. Well, 3 or 4 weeks ago now. I've got 2 to go on the shortlist.
Oh, very good going.
So yeah, I'm missioning it. But well, you see, what's making it easy is that we don't have the reading group, so we don't have to share the books. I've got complete and unfettered access to the books. Now I might send her the link to this video afterwards. I actually know one of the judges on the Carnegie shortlist because she was my predecessor in my previous school where I was a school librarian, and I'm still in touch with her. And she's on, lucky her, she's on the shortlist, and she talked about a bit about the judging process, and she said what has been most useful for her as a judge is rereading the books, because only when you reread do the strengths and weaknesses of each book become clear. And she said of each book, so obviously they don't think each book on the Carnegie shortlist is perfect, as indeed it shouldn't be. Now, Muriel, have you welcome Muriel by first Litsoc. Have you noticed anything about the Carnegie? Are you familiar with it at all, the Carnegie Medal? Not really? Okay, do you know what it is? And not really. Okay, so it's the book that's given to the best book written for children and young people, YA, teenagers.
By school librarians.
And yes, school librarians like me nominate them, and like my esteemed colleague gets to pick the winner. And yeah, there's 8 books. I don't have any of them here, but it's a very strong shortlist. And the one that is my favourite so far, and the one I think is going to win, is The Girl Who Became a Tree.
Yes, that's right, you did.
Which is...
That's the one we've decided.
Yeah, probably. But there's
all based on Daphne.
All based on Daphne, and it's very much library based as well.
It's up your street.
Yes, definitely up your street, Esme. And it's a verse novel, and of course verse.
It's because of you're under the oak. Do you want to move over?
Yeah, I asked her to sit there because of the
camera.
Yeah, but it's okay.
That's all right.
There you go. That's fine. Well, then should we have it back to the camera then?
What is it about oaks? They do crack bugs, but I think it's because they like the...
Maybe it's a girl who's become a tree, Miss Hunt.
Maybe.
So, but there's a strong shot, because obviously Clap When You Land we've talked about, Elizabeth Acevedo, Poet X, and
biscuits over there? Biscuits? Yes? Come and get them.
Eloise, did you read Echo Mountain? What did you think of Echo Mountain? Yes? Because that's my one that's to be read next. Do you think it will be a worthy winner? You don't know? Okay, because it's one of the 2 that I haven't read yet. So there's also Ruta Sepetis. I just read The Fountains of Silence. That was good. Set in Franco, Spain, which is something that hasn't really got many fiction about at all.
Not much fiction about it, at least not with us anyway.
No.
I can only think of another one, and then there's Laurie Lee's... store when I walked out one midsummer morning. So
it's...
I mean, I'm sure there are other things, but...
Of course, but it's certainly... So it's quite high profile, to be... And she's won the Carnegie before. So that's mostly what I've been reading. So now we're going to ask Lily to tell us about the Barnes in a minute.
Yes,
but before we do, perhaps Miss Huntley, you will tell us about what you've been reading lately.
Yes. Miss Rio, could you pass me the English Resistance? Yes. Okay. I think because you've not been visiting the library, ladies, because you've just been getting stuff online, Mr. Humphreys hasn't had the call on his purse.
I've got a bit more money.
He's got a bit more money for some reason, so I've been using it up, and I asked him to get this book about the Norman Conquest, because I was going to do a course about the Norman Conquest during the summer at Oxford. In fact, I can't do it now, but this is a really interesting book, The Underground War Against the Normans, and Peter X, he's not a king, as you might suppose. He's writing about what happened just before the conquest, and then what happened immediately afterwards, and what happened to the rebellious Anglo-Saxons who were defeated at the Battle of Hastings down near Pevensey, and why the whole sort of English state collapsed and they took over. And really it was just, as far as I can work out for the beginning anyway, it's because they built a whole load of castles So we might think of castles as romantic ruins, Gothic, the Castle of Otranto. But of course, to the poor old English, these hideous constructions had never been seen before since the Romans had left, and they'd left a very long time before. So we had betrayals, we had people like Hereward the Wake, who I always think of as sort of, there's a book by Josephine Tay called Brat Farrar, and they have a wallpaper which portrays Hereward the Wake. All that means is he comes from the Wake family, and also I'm just about to get on to where William goes up and smashes the north to pieces and makes it a wasteland. So a bit like Scotland after the clearances, a despoiled and depopulated land. So was Yorkshire and much of Lancaster. It's not. I mean, it's quite dry, but it's not. It's not really awful to read because he keeps making the comparison between the Nazis arriving in France in 1940, and therefore it's much more amenable. And you think about what might you have done? I mean, what might I have done as an Anglo-Saxon woman? My husband is dead, or my sons are dead at battle, as it came to be known, on the hill of Senlac. What would I have done? Would I have married a Norman overlord? Would I have just dwindled into poverty? Or would I have fought them tooth and nail, like Joan of Arc? She's French, of course, but so that's what is, that's that one that I've been reading, and I'm about to start this one, which you very kindly got as well, which is called Finding the Mother Tree.
Trees again.
And I was listening to a radio podcast, in fact, from America, it's called Radio Lab, and they were looking at, do you need a brain in order to be intelligent? Well, if you're human, you probably do, don't you? Although that's not necessarily true. You can have people who can function without most of their brain power. Anyway, but the point was that they were looking at plants, because plants don't actually have a central nervous system, or central brain. They have a lot of nerves and ways of communicating. Anyway, this woman who first was working in Canada for the Forest Service. Now the Forest Service in Canada tends to cut down trees, or at least it used to, rather than actually planting them, and she was researching after they've been cut down, and she discovered that if you replant with the same species, they are going to compete with each other for light, for nutrients, for soil, and probably 1 in 10 will end up dead. But if you plant with mixed species, so here, for example, we've got an oak tree and we've got a sycamore, and then we've got another oak tree over there, and then we've got the magnolias, they will look after each other, because they're not, although they're trees, they're different species, and they aren't competing. They are competing to some extent for the water, but down below the surface, which is where it's most important, they're not competing. And they are things like shepherd trees. And so it's only really in the last few years that people have understood this. And on this podcast, they were talking about this book, Finding the Mother Tree, and that's what it means. There probably was one tree eventually, like Eve, but in fact it's also about all sorts of other things as well. And in my lifetime, certainly, the Forestry Commission in Britain have had to find different ways of approaching logging and tree work. And certainly after the 1987 storm, when we lost a third of the trees in England to the hurricane, certainly southeast England anyway. Do you remember that?
1987, as in
No.
So no.
Nobody else remembers it except me. This amazing hurricane arrived. It exploded over the area of Chichester and spread outwards. And Kew lost vast amounts of trees. Local forests lost about trees. Nyman's in Sussex, half its oaks like this size, lost and gone forever, as it were. But it meant that we learnt a lot more about trees, ironically, and this is part of it, even though this is from Canada. So thank you for getting that.
You're
I
welcome.
enjoy that. And then this is the other one. Do you see this one?
It's an amazing title.
An amazing title. Mrs. Death, Mrs. Death. It's a very Terry Pratchett title.
It is a
don't you
very
think?
Terry Pratchett title, yeah.
So I shall look forward to that. And we've got a hare, I think, and a fox.
That's it looks like a fox.
Yeah.
Is that about Salem Witch?
No.
Good guess.
Good guess. It is Mrs. Death has had enough. She's exhausted from spending eternity doing her job, and now she seeks someone to unburden her conscience to. Ah, you see, this is the thing. There is no Mr. Death. She is Mrs. Death. Enthralled by her stories... Oh, wait a minute. Wolfe Williford, a trouble-drowned writer, is well acquainted with death, but until now hadn't met Death in person. A black working-class woman who shapeshifts and does her work unseen. Oh, it's a bit like the Morrigan, if she can shapeshift. Who in Harry Potter can shapeshift? Tonks. Yeah.
You brought it up.
I did. Well, these things have to happen.
It's all going so well.
Oh, come on.
I'll get my coat.
I found a Harry Potter lurking in a classroom, hidden away in a secret drawer this week. Brought it back to the.
She recovered it. It was Half-Blood Prince. She recovered it from a drawer.
Yeah, absolutely. So, appearing in our lives when we least expect her. Okay. Selena Godden. Anybody read Selena Godden?
No. Britain's bestseller poets and performers, activist, broadcaster, memorist, and essayist.
Widely anthologised.
Pessimism is for lightweights. She's got away with titles, I'll give her that.
Oh yeah, she's a fellow now of the Royal Society of Literature since they decided that Bernardine Evaristo was right and there must be diversified. Yeah. So I look forward to that too. Thank you for getting me that. Excellent. So much to celebrate with new books.
And much celebrate with the Barnes Literature Festival.
Absolutely.
So, tell us more.
Tell us more.
For those of you who don't know, I volunteer at a festival called the Barnes Literature Festival, and we're going on sale on Saturday. I keep thinking it's Friday. We're going on sale on Saturday. Our school's programme is already on sale, so the exciting addition to that this year is that we're going to Tower Hamlets as well as Barnes. And running events there.
Great.
So that's fun. Bethany Green.
Excellent.
So that's free for state schools, absolutely free, spreading the joy of literature.
Yes.
So we're running from Thursday the 17th to the 27th of June. And for the first time ever I get to go to the schools programme. I've never been before.
Exciting.
But yeah, because I'm finishing school soon. So the public programme, which is available for everyone, we've got a bunch of people coming, and it will be in real life if everything goes to plan. So we've got Sir Malcolm Walpurgo, Jacqueline Wilson, Lauren Child, Axel Scheffler, Helen Oxenbury, who's done our poster.
Wow.
Julian Clary,
Great.
Frank Cottrell-Boyce,
Yay.
David Almond, Hilary McKay.
Great. David Allman.
Hilary McKay, excellent.
Maz Evans,
great.
legend. Philip Reeve.
Oh my.
This is the best lineup ever, Lily.
Yeah.
This
Well, it's
is
always the best
amazing.
lineup ever.
Well, yes.
In person or online?
Yeah, in person.
In person. Wow, this is really exciting.
Stephen
It's a
Lenton,
book.
who won the Pet Parade. if you
Oh yes, of
watch
course.
that.
Yes.
Peter Horacek, legend. Shakespeare's Globe is coming to do some workshops.
Brilliant.
Elmer, the Patchwork Elephant.
Oh, Elmer's coming.
Coming
that's
back.
right.
Roald Dahl's Marvellous Medicine science show. Paddington Bear, a concert.
Hooray.
And Moomins. And you know those little picture books? That's called That's Not My. They're coming.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
A bunch of other people, obviously.
Great.
But Ross Montgomery, legend. Yeah, so Kay Silverton, if you know who that is. But
Newsreaders.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah.
I just wasn't sure of myself then for a minute.
Yeah, so it's open to everyone. We're going on sale Saturday. It's going to be the best year ever if everything goes to plan. So
That's fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Yeah.
That
would be wonderful.
Yeah, I need to get the word out. So
Yes,
spread the
definitely.
word, first of all. Tell your friends
Yeah, tell all
and your
your
family.
friends.
and everyone you know.
Yeah.
Lulu, have you got any posters, or should we print them off?
I don't know if we have posters this year because of COVID. We're not allowed to hand them out in schools.
There must be a
well,
digital
if there's a
thing,
digital
surely.
one.
Oh yeah, I've got a digital one.
If you send us a digital one, we could print it out and put it up in the library, wouldn't we? And also in the English department as well.
And we could just do a circular email to.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah.
To everyone, anyone who might be interested, because it sounds wonderful.
Yeah. Hopefully everything happened in the way it should. If Boris
fingers
lets us
crossed.
out.
I mean, it might. Who knows? But
how did it go last year? Never really got to ask.
It was
you.
online.
Yeah, I know. So how did it? The
Really
online
well. We
version
had like
go?
40,000 people watch it.
Oh wow! Fantastic. Yeah, I watched the Frank Russell Boys.
I watched Frank Russell Boys, and I watched Stanley Tucci. That was there. Frank was just amazing. He was so funny. I mean, he just had the robot, he had the Dalek. He was just so endearing. I just loved him. He was just, and here it is. He was such fun. He'd really taken to the online stuff, hadn't he?
Yeah, we were the first festival to go online at that point, so we set the precedent. Everyone copied us.
Yeah,
that happened with everything actually. But.
Yeah.
Yes. Girls, have you read Frank Russell Boys? Millions.
Oh, really worth seeking out.
Yes.
The Millions is so funny.
I read Cosmic.
Cosmic.
And I did not like it. So.
You didn't like Cosmic?
Don't tell my mum that or she'll cry.
No, I won't.
Alright, fair enough.
It's a bit
Or if you want to
far-fetched,
volunteer,
maybe.
you can come and
I will volunteer.
please.
I will.
And tell Frank Russell Boys what you thought of his books.
No.
I think Framed
Framed
is
is my
genius
favourite.
because Framed is about, I'm sure you've heard me talk about this before, about moving the National Gallery collections to Wales, which is where they went in the war, to a mine because the National Gallery has been flooded because the world has, the Thames has risen, and it's bad news, and the staff come with them to look after them, and a total misunderstanding takes place in a petrol station, doesn't it? With a young lad, and he talks about Botticelli, and somebody says, "Wow, you know about Botticelli?" And he means the Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, Leonardo, Raphael, Michelangelo,
that's
Donatello.
But people's lives have changed. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
it's
they
brilliant.
really are. It's a really uplifting, feel-good book. So
feel good.
A really good book to read.
He's always got a
right now.
great moral as well, hasn't he? Because he's such a special spiritual person as well.
And he's a really nice guy.
Yeah,
and he's
really
a very
nice
bright
guy.
guy because he captained his university. Well, he was on a university challenge team, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. And he wrote the script for London 2012.
Yes, he did.
With Danny
Yeah,
Boyle.
you all remember the opening ceremony? Yes, he was behind that.
Stayed up
That was
late.
all-
I realised
Of
I
course.
left one author to the end and forgot to say Julia Donaldson.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, you got to save
Very
it. Well,
special event with Julia Donaldson.
Well, she deserves to be mentioned on it, right? Because she is a legend.
Legend.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Lily. I think we're all very excited.
I'm excited.
Of course you are. Are you going to be busy then between the 17th and the 27th?
Yeah.
So just
Running around.
Running around, yeah.
At least I don't have to go to school after again, because usually I have to go right back in on Monday and start
No,
working.
you don't have to do that now. That's really good. And Tower Hamlets, you'll be going over there as well?
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then Camp
Good
YA
fun.
in August.
Great. Okay.
well, send us the details and we'll have a look at see what we can do.
Yeah, definitely. Send it round.
Actually, I've got prom on the 22nd, so that'll be fun.
When's yours? I can't remember.
25th?
Where are you guys doing?
You are going, yeah?
24th to the
Are you
25th.
going?
Yeah.
Where are you guys doing it?
It's
Richmond.
We're in Fox Hill.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Fox
Fox
Hill.
Hill.
Fox Hill.
We're the Golf Ham place.
Golf ham.
The Golf Ham place.
Richmond Golf Club.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is very nice.
It's nice, yeah.
It is. It's lovely. Yeah. Which leads me on to Very Hungry Caterpillar. Because Eric Carle died at the weekend, sadly. 91, a good life, and the Very Hungry Caterpillar will be around forever. Yum, yum, yum.
Yes.
Munch, munch, munch.
Way longer than us.
Yes.
It is a timeless book.
You'll eat forever.
You all read that, right? You've all read, yes, of course.
Yes, of
Need
course
I
you have.
even ask?
And last year we had a brilliant poem about Very Hungry Caterpillar. That's wonderful. So that's sad.
So should we finish by talking a bit about, just briefly mention, because we've got some exciting new YA titles, haven't we, Miss Sweet? Do you want to maybe show a couple of them?
I've not read any of them yet, but we've got
Well, you can do that.
Kate in Waiting.
Becky Albertalli, who wrote Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda, which was good.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you don't want to get it.
Yeah.
Might be a bit,
it's aimed at a slightly
old
older
for you
audience.
Year sevens. So that one sounds interesting. So you're free to have a look.
Yeah, okay, so you have this
Runaway
one, of course.
Robot.
This is aimed very much at... Alfie goes to airport, lost property, finds a giant robot called Eric hidden away in the shells. Eric has lost one leg and half his memory. He's super strong but super clumsy. He's convinced that he's the latest technology when he's actually nearly 100 years old, and ready for the scrap heap. Can Alfie find a way to save Eric from destruction before Eric destroys everything around him?
Star Wars.
Yeah, C-3PO.
He did all his research. In fact, there was a robot made in the when Metropolis came out. Somebody they did some, and the Rocket Man, that sort of 1920s, 1930s, and he found some photographs and things. He was showing it at the last year's talk. So
yes, he did.
it was good. It was really good, really interesting.
Another one.
Bit of a yearbook, Holly Bourne.
Yeah, another Holly Bourne.
Holly Bourne, you read Holly Bourne? You three?
White
No?
Thunder?
No, that's someone. That was Sarah Barnard.
Was she in the news?
That's this one.
Yes.
She in the
she
news
did.
this week?
Sorry?
Oh.
Was she in the news this week?
Holly Bourne.
Or was that someone else?
She did a manifest on how to be interesting.
Am I normal yet?
Am I normal yet? Are we all lemmings and snowflakes?
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, she's got a new one.
She's very good at talking the truth about what's it like to be a teenage girl, really. And the trials and tribulations.
A girl at school kind of exposes the mean girls at her school through the yearbook.
Oh.
That kind of.
Very.
Yeah, she's very good at that sort of
exposing all
stuff.
the things they've done.
Very revengeful.
Yeah,
But why not?
Sounds quite interesting.
Indeed. And then we got this one. So you, 5 Feet Apart, the author
I've
of
read
5
it.
Feet Apart. This is her new one.
Yes.
Yeah.
You read? Did you like 5 Feet Apart?
Yeah, I really liked it.
Sure, you like this then. All this time.
Excellent.
She co-wrote it with someone else, Mickey Dougherty.
I think she did with 5 Feet Apart as well. Wasn't that co-written?
Was it?
I think it might have been. I might be
Oh yeah, actually it is. But well, her name first.
Yeah.
Can you
dear.
find true love after losing everything?
Dear,
Kyle
sounds a
and
bit-
Kimberly are the
Sounds
perfect
a bit
couple.
bleak.
I think Kimberly.
Hang on. At least that's what Kyle's always thought. When Kimberly breaks up with him on the night of their graduation party, Kyle's entire world is turned upside down, literally. Okay, yeah, things do go bad. The car crashes, and when Kyle wakes up, he has a brain injury. Kimberly is dead. No one in his life could possibly understand until Marley. Marley is suffering from her own loss, a loss she thinks was her fault. As Kyle's and Marley's feelings for each other grow stronger, Kyle can't shake the sense that he's heading for another crashing moment, just as soon as he starts to put his life back together. I reckon it's probably ultimately works out okay.
Well, let's hope so.
I know, right.
Sounds.
Like
Books
it.
with those covers work out alright, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And
To be fair,
It's not a
5
David
Feet Apart
Nichols where everything
No.
is pear-shaped.
No.
Which is steeped in gold,
Ooh.
which looks great. I think it's a Jamaican fantasy about witches. So Jamaican
Oh,
witches.
okay.
Sounds
Right.
good.
That kind of thing. I haven't read it, but it sounds very
So a
good.
bit different from our witch
Someone
sort of
says it
witches.
puts the power into the hands of black girls. A true beating heart of magic. Yeah,
Okay.
sounds good. Love the cover.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think she's written anything else.
This looks good too. Heartlights
Yeah.
by Tim Tilley. And it's Wick has always lived in a dark and dreadful Heartlights match factory and orphanage,
Oh no.
working tirelessly for the greedy old Ma Bogey.
No.
He only dreams of escaping until one day a bird drops something impossible and magical at his feet, a tiny baby in an acorn cradle. As midnight chimes, Wick is visited by the Hobbs, miniature protectors of
Oh,
the
the
forest.
Hobbs. Oh, that's all right then.
Grateful for the kindness shown to their stolen child, they offer Wick the chance of a lifetime, escape from Heartlights and begin a new life with them in the wild. A little bit Harry Potter, actually.
Changeling.
But
Changeling.
a little bit Oliver Twist, yes.
Fantasy all over.
It's very fantasy. So this looks fun. It looks almost like. Have you read Cold Heart? Peter Bunzel.
No, but Emily's read Cold Tom with me, and that's about Changeling
There
too.
we go. So if you like Cold Tom, this could be another one. So we're getting exciting new books in all the time. So if anyone wants to borrow any of these, by all means do.
I've actually stolen this from Lulu.
Yeah, Lulu.
And I stole it from the Stamford.
Yeah.
So you're going to read it?
Yeah, I want to.
It's the library. It belongs to all of us.
It does it though.
Is that how you see me? These are mine. You're only allowed it when I say so.
You're like Smaug.
Such a miser.
It's when you steal them is a problem.
Gollum.
Borrowing is fine.
I was swayed by Lulu's.
How dare
She's
you?
already read it.
No, Smaug is a dragon.
Now I want to read it.
Oh, I'm a dragon. It's been weird. Dragon.
So,
Has anyone got the Smaug?
Smaug is the
no,
dragon.
I don't think so.
Right, girls? Smaug is the dragon from the Hobbit.
Smaug is a dragon. Smorg, I call it.
Small, you say Smaug.
I always say
Smaug.
Yeah, absolutely. Smorg.
I would say Smaug. Yeah.
Yes.
I say
What are these?
They say Smaug in the
They
movie.
say Smaug in the movie, but what do they do?
Professor
It's like they
We
used
need
to say
Professor Tolkien.
Mordor. I could always remember the Now show going Mordor. Endlessly, which is very fun.
We need Professor Tolkien to give us the definitive answer.
So, girlies, what about you three? What are you going to be reading over half term? Eloise?
Oh, we've already done this.
Oh, sorry.
before. That's okay.
Of course you have. I'll watch the video, find out.
Well, I
Did you
guess.
talk about this?
Well, what was the Gibbons over for this one? How to make the world add up. 10 rules for thinking differently about numbers. Bill Bryson and Stephen Fry.
He's very good, Tim Harford, because he does the programme on Radio 4, More or Less. And More or Less is a programme on the radio about statistics and about people sending questions and say, how do you work out or numbers? How is it that you can tell the number of people who were in school yesterday? And it's about estimates, and if you're doing estimates in maths and that sort of thing, it's what it's based on. And he gets in experts and talks to them, and he's really very knowledgeable mathematician.
Yeah,
anyway.
and he is, and you talk about stats and how you can predict trends. This looks like this is what it's about. Takes us deep into the world of bad research and misplaced motivation. So find those priceless jewels of data analysis that make communicating with numbers so rewarding. This is right up Mr. Gibbons Street. It is a must-read for anyone who cares about understanding the world around them, which is all of us.
Yes.
Bill Bryson and Stephen Fry, it's high praise.
Yeah, there they go.
Definitely.
Plus many other Matthew Said as well. So yeah.
Oh yes.
So
yeah.
So this is like a good non-fiction one.
Indeed.
Oh look, here we go.
On that, a letter.
This is a letter. Now we all recognise his image, I'm sure. Yes. And this is him. I think he structured it as a letter to his son. A letter to change the world. How he wants to make. How can we make the world a better place?
Do you know this photograph, girls? Have you seen it?
I don't know if you can see it from where you sat. Maybe pass it over to them. It was a very iconic picture from
last
summer. When in the aftermath of George Floyd's murder.
There was a Black Lives Matter protest, and there was also what they call themselves the English Defence League. Was it English Defence League? Who are really racist, mostly guys. There were a few women, and the chap he's carrying was hit on the head, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was an EDL.
And he was rescued by this chap.
Yeah,
and
Patrick, whatever.
Patrick.
Yeah.
And it went viral, and the message went viral, and it was just just extraordinary day, wasn't it? And this is his book about this extraordinary event.
Yeah. And his outlook, and I guess why he did what he did, because he saw a human life in danger. That's why he did what he did.
Yeah.
Probably great read.
I'm sure it is.
Really good read. So
yes.
So if you haven't seen it, there's it's quite an image.
Absolutely, very powerful image.
Yeah.
I think that's us done. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, thank you for
Thank you for
coming,
coming.
everyone.
Have a happy holiday.
Yes. Keep reading.
Keep reading. And we'll definitely get together before you depart. Not this life, but this school.
Wow, that was pretty dark, Miss Emily.
Sorry.
I'm not going in now.
Yeah, look at it.
The English department have a death wish.
No.
Okay, so until next time, and here's the way they're getting better, so that
Yes,
we
so
can
we can get more
reconvene.
together more regularly.
we've been very unlucky. It's been so
Rubbish.
unbelievably bad for me. So hopefully after half term we will
Yeah.
get together there more frequently. Okay, so
Yes.
until then, take
Lovely
care.
to see you. Take
Good
care
evening.
and have a great holiday.
Bye everyone.
Enjoy.
Bye.
Bye.